All right, welcome to this episode of the Joyful Scaling Podcast. Today, we're talking about Facebook and Instagram ads. Okay, so who are they for? When are they for you? And how can you get results? So, whether you've run ads before or not, you'll want to take notes on this one. I'm here with a beautiful sister in Christ, Carolyn Heefner. She is a 10-year Facebook and Instagram ads expert who runs ads for her med spa and wellness clients inside her agency. And she coaches service providers and coaches to help them get the very best results with their Facebook and Instagram ads. On a personal note, Carolyn is a wife and mama of 3 precious girls and 1 golden doodle. Let's say hey to Carolyn.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here. I love being in the Christian space. That's where I truly want to be and where I thrive. I love being with other Christian entrepreneurs. And I feel like we just have the same, what is it, heart-centered mindset to help as many people as possible.
Love it. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, and our audience is so amazing. They're just gonna drink you up. All right, so let's talk about, before I get into the nuts and bolts of ads, I'm always curious, how did you come to this work?
So I graduated from college in 2013 and immediately got a job at a local advertising agency here in upstate New York. And it was through my dad that I got this job, and it was going to be like a temp job. And they were very big into traditional media. And it was right around the time Facebook ads started. I don't even think Instagram might have just launched at the time. And they really didn't have a digital division. So they said, digital marketing, that's something that's come up and coming. Do some look into that for us. So what I thought was going to be a 3-month temp job ended up being a 4-year position where I basically built the division from 0 digital clients to 27, which was incredible and such a journey. And there were lots of tears and lots of wins on the way, but I pretty much taught myself everything I could need to know in the digital marketing space, from Facebook ads to YouTube ads to Google ads to SEO, you name it, I was in it. And then it was what Facebook and Instagram ads was my real focus after about 4 years. And I just love it to this day. So that was, 2013 to 2023.
That is quite an amazing responsibility you were given right out of the gate. Here, look into this thing, this digital marketing thing. That's pretty cool. All right. I know we're focusing on Facebook and Instagram ads, but I'm just curious. Do you know anything about LinkedIn ads? I'm kind of putting you on the spot. I'm just curious.
That was actually one of the things they told me to look into at the time. And I think back then LinkedIn ads were you had to be a specific level company. You had to a bigger company in order to run LinkedIn ads. I know now you can as any company, but I really don't know much about their algorithms. I don't know how the ads are placed. I do know that LinkedIn is I know Gary Vee has been talking about LinkedIn nonstop. So I think it actually is a really good place to find leads and land clients. But I don't know much about how to leverage it. I just know it's a powerful platform. I wish I knew more. Maybe someday I'll hire somebody to help me out.
Yeah. Well, I will just drop a footnote here that I never did LinkedIn ads, but I was told that they tend to be more expensive than Facebook and Instagram. However, they're easier to get traction. But what do I know? So
I would think that they would bring in higher quality leads, right? I tend to think there's less bots on LinkedIn, whereas Facebook and Instagram, you kind of got to deal with a lot of bots and fake accounts and things like that. So yeah, I think it's worth exploring.
Yeah. Okay. So that, I hate the whole bot thing, and everybody listening knows that about me, but I'm very intrigued by ads. Okay. So the first question I have for you, Carolyn, is what should coaches and service providers have in place before they even think about running ads?
Absolutely. So this industry, coaches and service providers specifically, they really do have to have their foundations in place before running ads. And I tell all the coaches and service providers that come to me this first: you've got to have a couple of different things. Number one, a proven offer. Okay. So an offer that you've sold organically multiple times successfully, because ads are only going to amplify what is working. They're also going to amplify what's not working, right? So if you've got offers that don't really sell, if you've got organic content that doesn't really work, if your messaging needs work, if you've got issues on the back end and you're struggling, you're going to burn a lot of money if you invest in Facebook and Instagram ads thinking that it's a quick fix. It's really going to be glaringly obvious what needs to be fixed. However, if you, and I actually used this example earlier on a coaching call today, ads, you have to have the foundation of the house before you build it up, right? So the foundation is your offers. It's, your marketing, your messaging, knowing your ideal client inside and out, sales, like the most basic things, being able to make sales, right? And once you have that foundation in place, right? Once you've made those sales over and over again, once you've honed in on the ideal client, you've got the testimonials, then that opens up the world of ads, right? Then you can set those offers on an ad and have them explode. So I like to say, this is another analogy, but your offers, your messaging, your marketing, organic, your funnels, your emails, those are the fire, right? That's like the kindling the fire. And once you've got a good fire going, ads are like pouring gasoline on that fire. It's going to take off, but you've got to do the foundational work first. And I know it's not great. You don't want to hear that, right? You want to hear that ads are this quick fix and you're going to launch them. And
Well, see, that's what I love, Carolyn. I love that you're real, because people are looking for the easy button.
Yes.
And I know that most of my audience, they're women, they love the Lord. And so they're not lazy, but yet they're thinking, I'm an expert. I've been in corporate. Maybe I'm newer at entrepreneurship. Maybe I've been in it for a while, but in any event, I think that they're often, especially in the early stages, they are surprised at how the hard work alone doesn't get you there in order to get success. A lot of it is up here in the brain. Right?
Totally. Yes.
Yeah. And so, they might hear about Facebook ads and then, how many of my clients, when the boosting started, they say, I'm going to boost my ads. And I said, stop it, because what are you doing? Let's talk about that for a second. The boosting.
Yeah. I hear a lot of people, I've had clients before we work together come to me and they're like, well, I boosted a couple posts and I didn't see any traction. And I'm like, yeah, because boosted posts are a way, number one, for Facebook to make a quick buck, right? It's really tempting to hit that little blue button that says you're going to reach thousands more people if you boost this post, right? Yeah. But that's basically like throwing spaghetti at a wall and hoping that something sticks. There's no strategy to it. Whereas when you run ads inside the ads manager and you have a strategy, right? So as far as strategy, let's say, I can use my agency clients for this. We've created full funnel ad campaigns where we target people from the very top, like cold audiences with really low, video views, engagement campaigns, and we're earning their trust down the funnel and then make the offer, right? And that's how we're bringing leads in strategically. So yes, it's like I said, it's tempting to want that quick result. We all want the easy win. We see these reels of people making $50,000 months and all this stuff. And we're thinking, this ads have to be the missing piece. And they're really not. There has to be a strategy to it. There has to be a nurturing, right? Especially as coaches and service providers, you've got to build the authority. You've got to build the trust if someone's going to go high ticket. Typically, very rarely are you going to go from cold to enrolled. It does happen. Don't get me wrong. But it's rare, especially if you're an expert who has a smaller audience, if you're just starting out, have less content, have less experience marketing your offers, things like that.
Yeah. So good. So good. Gosh, so many questions that come up from that, but I really appreciate what you said about the boosting. And you don't have to go on record as saying this, but I will, that Facebook, the powers that be there are really sneaky and schemy, just for what you just said. I'm not going to attribute that opinion to you, but I will say, guys, don't be fooled. they're always looking for a buck. Just like every time I go on Facebook, it's like, do you want to verify yourself and get my little blue check mark?
Yep.
No, thank you. Okay. I am who I am. I don't need you to approve it. So I just want you to tell, Facebook ads and Instagram ads are worth doing. So let's jump in to, now that we know we have our foundation in place. Now, what is some of this strategy that you're talking about in order to get real results from those ads?
Absolutely. I do want to add something to what you said, though. It's funny because as a Christian and as an entrepreneur, I really do not like big tech. And I think we've talked about this in private before. Like, I don't support it because I don't support the things that it stands for. I think as a Christian, it really stands for everything we don't believe in, but it's it's a necessary evil, right? Like, I don't want to be attached to these devices, but it's like, I have to be in order to run my business and provide for my family. So, I feel you and what you're saying there. And there, I think there is such a balance, and you've got to have the discipline, right?
I love that discipline. Yes.
Yeah.
Turn it on, then turn it off. All right.
Exactly. I think I know lately I've really been struggling with that. Just, in the holidays, got campaigns going and people are reaching out, and I want to be present with my kids, but I've got so much going on in work. So, discipline for sure.
Yep. All right. So now strategy.
Okay.
How are we going to get real results for these ads?
Absolutely. So what I don't want people to hear me say is, you can't run ads if you're not at 100,000 followers, or if you're not at, 10K months or something like that. Yes, it makes it easier, right? If you've got more money to spend on ads, because you're going to reach more people, and it allows you for more campaigns and bigger strategies. However, you don't always have to have a ton of money to run ads, right? You can reach a lot of people inside the ads manager running top of funnel campaigns. That's video view campaigns, engagement campaigns, messaging campaigns. All you really need is $10 a day, $15 a day to reach your warm audiences, right? Or even a cold audience. But again, you have to have a strategy, right? So if your strategy is building your email list, you can target your ads towards a warm or a cold audience to opt in for some sort of freebie, some sort of ebook, guide, masterclass. And that's a really great way to warm your audiences to then make the sell. But you don't want to go right to the sell. And that's where I talk about, throwing spaghetti at the wall. Because oftentimes it's coaches and service providers and even course creators, you're like, okay, my course is finished. My coaching program is finished. I'm ready to get it out to the world. Well, again, it goes back to like, you've got to warm people. And that's the strategy. The strategy is taking people from cold, right, the top of funnel, and serving them ads in different sequences. So, maybe hitting them with an introduction ad, telling them who you are and what you do. Then hitting them with a value ad, telling them, how to do something that they need help with. Then hitting them, and these again, like these can be like $1 a day for video views. And then the third ad can be, a testimonial ad, or talking about your services or your program. And then the fourth ad can then be, why don't you hop on a clarity call with me? Or, opt into my freebie, send me a message to learn more. Again, that's a strategy to bring them down the funnel. And it is so necessary for coaches and service providers. It can be necessary for other businesses. Like I said, for brick and mortar, for my med spas, those are hefty asks. Like, those are big ticket items. Botox is expensive, right? So there's some warming there, but same with this online space. You've got to warm people because people are wary of ads. They don't buy in so much. So if you can come across in your ads as native, as wanting to help, as showing value, as showing social proof, right? And then hit them with the ask, it's going to be a lot easier than, saying, I am who I say I am, trust me, and let's book a call.
So good. So good. I love strategy. You know that because we've talked offline before. And so I love that you speak it in that way when you approach the work strategically with intention. And what is the goal? What is the goal that you want to achieve? What I find is that too often people go for ads at the last minute, meaning
yes.
I have a masterclass and they don't have it going all the time.
Yeah.
And that I think is not great, right? Because to your point, you don't have time to warm them up. It's like, here's the thing, you want it? So
yeah, that's so true. And I've had a lot of coaches and service providers, especially when I first started my business around 2019, come to me and they're like, I just started this program and I want it to go evergreen right now. And I want to run ads to it right now. And I'm like, at the time, I mistakenly took these clients on because I was like, oh, easy peasy, big red flags. I would never do that again. Now I'm like, okay, how many times have you launched, right? What are your conversion rates? How does your landing page convert? How do you convert on a call? You've got it. There's a lot of math that goes into running ads too, to determine what's your cost per lead, what's your budget, what are your KPIs. You've got to know these numbers. And I always know if a client is ready for done for you ads, if they know the answer to all those questions. And if they don't, I'm like, okay, you might need some coaching, right?
Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh. Because a lot of the women that I work with, and myself back in the day, I'm getting so much better, right? You can't grow your business without this, but you need to know your numbers. And you need to know, I have a whole spreadsheet of my launches. These are the people that come in and this day, that day.
Yeah.
And then these are the people that are staying live. And these are the number of replays. I mean, just as an example, I want ladies that you're listening and you're like, wait a minute, what? She's talking about, I need to know math. I'm not a math girl, right? But you are a CEO. So you need this data to make smart decisions.
Yeah.
And yes, you can rely on Carolyn because she's amazing, but you as CEO need to know what's going on in your business so you can make great decisions. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about some practical questions that I'm sure some of our listeners have. Okay. How about this? Filters versus real and raw. Like what's converting in the way of even pictures or video? What do you think?
I tend to think that real and raw right now is just in. And I think that's because of TikTok. I think the rise of TikTok has made it so Instagram wants to chase after TikTok, right? Because TikTok took off. Instagram followed with Reels. And that's what's in, is this like authentic, being real type of content, especially in video. Regardless of what it is though, high quality is going to win the day always. So even if it is authentic and real, it's got to be a high quality video or image. Same with, regardless of, what I mean is like not pixelated, right? The lighting should be good. It shouldn't glitch out, right? It should be a decent video, right? And I think it's hard if you're, how do I explain this? Like if you've got an older phone or things like that, and you're trying to like take video and run ads, that's going to be an issue. I think most of us probably have newer phones, but yes, it can be real and raw, but just make sure it's, it's higher quality.
Yes. High resolution.
Yeah. High resolution. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't have to put like the Instagram filter on me.
No.
As long as I'm recording it on a updated phone.
Exactly. I also don't think people like the filters. Like I think people are becoming the same way that people are becoming very wary of obvious advertising. I think people are becoming very wary of this like highly filtered type of video and photo, because they're like, that's not real. That's not what you look like, right? People want real. They want raw.
You know why I'm laughing? Earlier this week, I did an interview with Steven Scoggins from the Unstoppable Show. Do you know Steven?
I don't know, but I think I've heard of that. The Unstoppable Show. I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, he's amazing, but he must think I'm an old hag. Can I just, and Steve, if you're listening, I love you, but I'm curious because they took my picture, like they did the video, but they had me like pretty, like big. Yeah. So I guess he didn't like my wrinkles and dinkles, as I say, because I'm like, ooh, wow, I'm good in that. That doesn't even look like me.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So when you said that, I'm going to reach out to him and yank his chain.
Yeah. Let him know.
Yeah. Like, hey, what are you doing? Okay. So what do you think about budget? You mentioned earlier, like some of these great top of funnel ads, you can do it for like $1 or something a day, but really give us a little bit more to understand about that.
Yeah. So your budget I always tell my clients, we have to reverse engineer a strategy, right? We have to know what your cost per lead is. We have to know what your goals are. We have to know if you're in a launch, if you're out of a launch, if you're evergreen. So your budget really is going to depend. For my clients, if they want to launch, if they've launched before, they want to launch again, I say I need a minimum of $2,000 for the launch period, right? So that's going to be typically like $1,500 spent on the launch part. So the intro part, and then $500 on the retargeting piece, because the retargeting piece is going to be a smaller audience. But if you want to run ads, like just to dip your toe in the waters, just to gain some traction, like I was talking about those sequencing video ads, I mean, you can do it for as little as $20 a day to kind of try and get some traction and bring some new leads into your world. I have some clients doing that. I run my own ads between $10 and $25 a day, depending on, again, if I'm in a launch, if I'm retargeting, what I'm doing. The smaller the audience, the smaller the budget, because you don't want to fatigue your audience with, the same message over and over. And that's why I always tell my clients, you should have creatives on backup, right, on standby, so you can switch out creatives if people are getting oversaturated with your messaging. The larger the audience, so if you're targeting a cold audience, top of funnel, you're likely going to want a bigger budget, but it also depends on your objective. So if you're running a video view campaign, again, like $1 to $10 a day, you're going to make waves with that type of budget, because video views are cheap. You're going to get video views for like a cent. A conversion, yeah, like super cheap. Yeah. Which is great. That's why it's great to have those like sequencing and top of funnel, get to know you ads. If you're running a conversion campaign or a lead generation campaign or a purchasing campaign, you're going to be spending more. So it's going to be closer to like 25, 30, 50, $40, $50 a day. But again, it all depends on your audience, all depends on your goals. There's so many different factors that go into it.
Yep.
But the rule of thumb is, if you want to reach more people, you're likely going to spend more. And if your ask is high, right? If you're wanting people to purchase something, then your spend is going to be higher. And this is not for e-commerce. I am not an e-commerce ads manager. I know some other Christian e-commerce ads managers that are incredible. But these rules do not apply to e-com.
Interesting. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So you're talking to the right audience here. Okay,
good.
Let's talk about the type of ads. So I heard like, I don't know, in my circles, that podcast, like audio or video views, are amazing to draw in new people.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that for just a second. And then any other of these types of ads that you want to make sure our ladies know about.
Absolutely. So in my program, the Simple Ad Society, I have a coach right now, a marketing coach, who runs traffic ads to her podcast that's embedded on her, 2 different podcast episodes that are embedded on her website, which is great because you drive traffic to that website. They listen to those episodes because you can actually track by button clicks, because they're on your website, not to Apple, not to Spotify. You can't track to those sites. And then you can retarget those people who went to that landing page with other ads. So that's, again, when I'm talking about strategy. Traffic ads are cheap, $5 a day, $10 a day to a cold audience. Again, you're going to have the opportunity to hit them multiple times if you run retargeting ads, and also nurture them with the podcast. And then ideally, if your podcast has a call to action of check out my Instagram, go to my Facebook group, something like that, you're hitting them in multiple places. And then if you add ads to that and retargeting them, you're really going to be warming them down the funnel. So that's a great opportunity to hit them once and then hit them again multiple other times, and nurture them down your funnels. Okay. Other types of ads that I love a messaging campaign, especially geared just on Instagram. My clients are primarily, or my marketing rather, is primarily on Instagram. So I like running messaging campaigns, and my calls to action are always send me a message if you have an ads question, or DM me to learn more about my programs, or things like that. So love it. Love messaging campaigns that you can run for like $10 a day. And those are good for coaches, especially for service providers who have one-on-one services.
Can I interrupt and ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Do you know about ManyChat? Because we're going hard on ManyChat. So do you want to just talk about that, because the many chat, when you're talking about, hey, DM me the word la 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 and you'll learn more. So let's just talk about that for a second, if we could.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually teach this. This is one of the strategies I teach in my program. Is they send you a keyword, and then basically you can integrate your ManyChat with your Facebook ad, so that when they do send you the keyword, ManyChat hops in through the automation and sends them the link to the guide, the ebook, whatever it is that you want them to download, or even to your Calendly link, and they can book through ManyChat. You can also set it up so that when you get a comment, like a certain keyword in your comments, ManyChat will respond and say, I'll just sent you a DM, and ManyChat will then DM, the different links and things like that. I actually took a program last year where she was putting in place a funnel through ManyChat. This coach was, and she taught, after 15 minutes, you send a follow-up. And then based on the response, you can jump in, or you can have your ManyChat bot jump in. So there are so many ways to use their like flows and automations that are great. And it's a great way to automate, so you don't have to be receiving messages 24/7, especially if you're running ads, to messaging.
Yeah. And I think that the investment is a no-brainer.
Yeah. It's like, what is it, $15 a month?
Yeah. It's like nothing. Yeah. You just have
That's
to
great.
learn. You have to be willing to learn, or willing to pay somebody to do it for you and set it up.
It's not hard to learn either, right? It's very easy to like adopt quickly. Yeah.
I don't. My team does it. But yes, I understand. It's quite simple. I think Rebecca said, Judy, I think you could do this. I'm like, thank you, but no. But all right. How about, so not everybody has the cash flow to be able to hire an amazing expert like you to run their ads. So how about some tips on what not to do to avoid wasting money on these ads?
Absolutely. Okay. To avoid wasting money, this goes back to the first point, right? So make sure that you have your foundations in place, please, before going to ads. They are not going to be a quick fix. If anything, they're going to cause more issues. So please get your offers in place, your messaging, make those sales organically first, do the grunt work first, so then you can scale with ads. Don't run ads to a low ticket offer that you've never sold before. I know this is like the hot ticket thing right now. Okay. Everybody thinks that low ticket digital products are going to be the key to their success, the key to like never having to work again. It's like the answer to everybody's prayers.
Yeah,
they can be, of course, but again, you've got to sell it at least 100 times to know that people want it, right? And this just goes back to my first thing. Yeah, lay your foundations first, do things in the right order, so you can scale with ads. Don't hire an expert that doesn't ask these questions of what are your conversion rates? How many times have you launched? What's your landing page convert at? Do you have successful funnels? They're not going to be a good fit, and you will waste thousands of dollars. Same with an agency. Like there are a lot of agencies out there that make promises that they just cannot keep. And I have a couple people inside my Simple Ads program that got so burned on ads and spent close to $15,000 on agencies and did not see even one lead come in. Wow. So just be wary. And also the struggle I have with agencies too is oftentimes, they'll sell you all these promises and then they kick you off to a random account manager who doesn't know anything about your business, doesn't know your voice, doesn't even know like how to create campaigns that are that fit your business. So just be wary of that. And another thing too is if you want to save money on ads, learn how to do them yourself first. I know nobody wants to take on another task, but if you're serious about running ads and you do eventually want to outsource or want to hire a team member to do them for you, learn how to do them first. It is such a premium skill to learn for your business, and you will be so grateful that you did.
So good. Okay. I want to talk about lead quality. I want to piggyback on something you said.
Yeah.
Over the years, I threw thousands, probably tens of thousands away on the ads and on the people who were supposed experts. Okay. And so in one of them, it was like, I'm getting you leads, like it's working. And I said,
Right.
no, they're not quality leads. They're really not my peeps. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you say they are, but they look to be bots or they look to be fakers. They're not my
Yeah.
quality. So, I think that goes to targeting. I'm thinking in large part. So do
Mm-hmm.
you have any advice when it comes to targeting?
So what I've found more recently, and the way that Facebook's algorithms are leaning, is they are making such big changes to their audience and their algorithms AI that they want you to target broad and let your copy, your creatives, and your messaging do the work so
Mm,
that their AI can then show the right people the message, right? So the more people that start to respond to an ad, that start to become leads, if they're the right people, right, and your messaging is really honed in, you're going to get more of the right
mm,
response. You're going to get higher quality leads. Now, if you run ads, let's say you have a very generic message and a very generic, creative and all of that, Facebook's going to have a really hard time. Their algorithms are going to have a really hard time finding who it is that like they'll bring you leads all day long, but you will have no idea if they're quality leads.
mhm.
So your messaging really needs to be dialed in. And this is actually a more recent, like within this last couple months, change that they're making with the algorithms.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
would. Go ahead.
Can I say something else in that? You alluded earlier to the bots. There's
Mm-hmm.
lots of
Yeah.
bots that I don't understand why a bot would click an ad, but anyway, I don't understand how the whole thing works. But I've heard from an agency owner
Mm-hmm.
that as much as 50% of the clicks and leads that you get are probably bots. Is that true or not true?
I don't know if I've heard that one. I know that if you target worldwide, that you're going to get a lot of bots out of India. I know it's like so random, but that's like where the bot accounts are. So again, you've got to be like really specific about your targeting. And I think again, it goes back to that message-based targeting. You have to make sure your message is honed in. And I always teach my simple ads members and my clients, call out who it is that you're looking for. Like if you're targeting local, call out your county. If you're targeting worldwide, or not worldwide, but the United States, and you're targeting, female entrepreneurs, literally call out female entrepreneurs in your copy, in your creatives. That hook is going to dictate a lot of how your ad performs.
Mm.
But to go back to your question, I'm not sure if 50%, I haven't heard that in my circles. It might be true. I think maybe if you do worldwide targeting,
Yeah,
again,
I think it was almost like a scare tactic. Like
maybe.
why they wanted to why you need to hire her because
Right.
they're coming to get you and you won't succeed without her or something. But anyway,
That's one way.
this is so good. I can't believe how quickly we're out of time. But you are so gracious and you've prepared a free ebook, Run Simple Facebook and Instagram Ads. Will you tell us about that?
Absolutely. So it is a very hefty ebook. I think it's like 30 pages, maybe it could be longer. And it literally walks through with screenshots step by step. And I actually think I include some video trainings in the links,
Wow.
how to do the very basics, like set up your business manager, set up your ads manager. I have a strategy in there. So like set up your simple ad strategy. And it's messaging. It's a messaging campaign. How to set up, your pixel, just like the most basic stuff, but then it goes to some more advanced things. So how to launch your ads, what copy you should use, what creatives you should use. And it really goes into that message-based targeting. And then I think I have a little bit on how to track your metrics. And then there's, a little bit of information on me, but yes, it's very hefty. It's a lot of information. So please go through it slowly if you're like a beginner and you get overwhelmed by a lot of tech. But I promise if you go through it, I actually had a message the other day from a young woman who messaged me and said, I put everything in your ebook into place and these are my results in the last day. And she had like 20 new leads from this ebook. So,
There you go.
and
So
she was
that's
just so pumped.
yeah, that is so highly valuable. So thank you so much for sharing that, Carolyn. We will have the link for that in the show notes. And I think you might have mentioned that like in a story recently.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, that was so good. All right. So if our audience, and I know they do, are falling in love with you, where can they find you? Where should they go to connect?
Absolutely. So I know I mentioned this earlier, but Instagram is like the main place where I do my marketing and where I hang out. So Carolyn Grace Heefner on Instagram. I think it's Carolyn_Grace Heefner on Instagram. Please send me a DM so I can connect with you. Like I said, I love connecting with fellow Christian entrepreneurs. So please message me. Let me know that you heard the episode. I do have a Facebook group as well. It's called Learn Simple Facebook and Instagram Ads. And I provide tips and some video trainings in there. So yeah, a couple Facebook, Instagram, and a little bit on LinkedIn, I suppose, because you mentioned
Okay.
LinkedIn.
Okay. I need the LinkedIn link, but
I'll
also,
send it to you.
okay, cool. I'm also going to have in the show notes your website link. So ladies,
Yes.
check out the show notes right now. Run, don't walk. Download this freebie. It sounds amazing. All right, Carolyn. Well, as we wrap up, is there anything that you wanted to chat about or any last word of wisdom as we
Yeah, we covered a lot, but last words of wisdom are, please, don't think that Facebook ads are like the quick fix. I mean, they definitely can and do get incredible results, but with the right foundations in place.
Very, very good. All right, Carolyn, once again, thank you, sister. This has been awesome.
Thank you, guys.
All right, ladies, thank you for listening. And listen, if you are listening and you are loving this and you come back every week, you may even be a subscriber, but you haven't yet left a review. Please do so. We've got to get more of this idea of normalizing miraculous results for Christian women, not just across the North American, continent, but all around the world. We are in 52 countries now. And I really want to get to more. It's so funny. You know what? I'm blowing up in Africa all of a sudden. I don't know why, but it's amazing. So thank you, my African listeners. I love you so much. Love y'all. And Carolyn, once again, thank you. And ladies, we will see you next time.
Thanks.